So the Thunderbolts trailer came out on Twitter a minute ago. It was leaked, but now Marvel has released it in perfect, crispy, official quality, and my feelings have surprisingly changed. Now, when I first saw it through someone's iPhone, I thought it was a fine trailer. I like the themes they seem to be going for with finding purpose and fulfillment. The whole bad meets evil thing that seems to be pretty prevalent with these types of anti-hero team-up movies has always caught my attention. I like the idea that even extremely flawed people have a line that they won't even cross and a tremendous capacity for good still. I'm not sure if I can quite articulate it right, but it's always such an interesting thing to see the traditional bad guy and the good guy team up to fight against a common bigger threat, like watching Piccolo or Vegeta team up with Goku. I don't know what and if there is a name for that type of euphoria, but it's just a nice feeling. So thematically, I thought this had some juice, and we'll touch back on that a bit later. But since the actual trailer came out, I've had a chance to watch it multiple times, and I'm honestly a bit more hyped than I was previously. I was pretty indifferent to this movie, and I haven't really been looking forward to intently on anything Marvel after Deadpool and Wolverine until, of course, Fantastic Four. I've heard good things about the Agatha All Along show, to be honest, so maybe I'll check it out once it finishes and I can get a trusted confirmation it won't be a waste of my time. I'm not too excited for Brave World, and from what I've seen of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm not too sold. It's Spider-Man though, so I probably will check it out, and I'm gonna check out Brave World, but still, I haven't really been looking forward to any of those projects that have been sandwiched in between the more sensational movies. But as I watch this teaser more and more, I can't help but feel we might have a serious banger on our hands in more ways than one. So first off, the color grading looks pretty good, especially during the interior shots and even the outside shots, which in a lot of Marvel movies can look a bit washed out. I think it looks pretty well. Any complaints visually for these movies usually dissipate for the most part once it's in theaters. Like, it's noticeably of better quality once I see it. So I can't wait to actually see the final product. We haven't seen too much action, right? But from the little interaction we had with all the villains in that very peculiar place, which we'll talk about later, it looks like we might have something pretty exciting. For the most part, this is all pretty heavy hand-to-hand combat action. I imagine are always trying to get back to the Winter Soldier and Shang-Chi type of level of fighting. I think that's the most entertaining and the type of fight sequences that audiences have responded to the best. And I think the powers that we do see, even if they are limited, will only elevate how creative they get with the fight choreography. So I'm hoping they just dial that up to 11 every chance they get, like Ghost catching the knife, and then the camera movement that accompanies that is pure sauce. So again, I just hope that's consistent throughout the movie. The drips are questionable for the most part though. Yelena and John Walker have upgraded. I like the design of the previous Ghost suit, but the actual gray color did not help it stick out. I mean, the color grading for Ant-Man and the Wasp was ass butter. The whole movie didn't help that suit out. I think Taskmaster's mask is a tad more skullish, but they should have kept the teeth because I think that added to the look. I can see a lot of people getting confused between Taskmaster and Ghost in this one. Bucky's hair is looking crazier, and Red Guardian has significantly less aura than his first outing, so suit-wise, it's not really all there for me, okay? They might be an aura debt here a little bit. The buckle for Sentry's suit is also a bit worrying, but the sheer fact that Sentry will be in the movie and that Marvel's seemingly taking into consideration that yellow and blue suits work in live action, but they also rock. So it gives me the slightest bit of hope that when we do see Sentry's suit, it will be glorious. Also, the writers, and at least 2/3 of them are completely goated, okay? With things like The Bear, BoJack Horseman, and even your boy's personal favorite, It's Always Sunny on their resumes. Joanna Kahlo and Lee Sung-jin, I cast benefit of the doubt on you. I think Joanna was even an executive producer on this show called Undone. That was really cool. I think it was like on Amazon, and I hate using the term, but it was very trippy and like mind-bending. I need to revisit that, but I have a lot of confidence in them just because of their resume. A lot of people have been speculating about what the asterisks will be on the end of the title logo, and it's been thrown around that it will be either New Avengers or Dark Avengers, which damn, I wouldn't mind them going with Dark Avengers, although the team has significantly less sauce than that of the comics team. Also, I think you should save that Avengers title for the big event movies just to keep the luster of it, and just name it Thunderbolts Dark Reign. I think that would go hard, honestly. Just have Vanessa supplant Norman Osborn's role in that time period in the comics where he's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., or in this case, just an insanely high-ranking government official. Again, the themes of purpose and fulfillment, I think, if done well, can resonate with anyone, so I'm extremely intrigued on how exactly they will weave that in with the Bob, the Sentry, Marvel Superman with schizophrenia, if you will. So Lewis Pullman will be playing Robert Bob Reynolds, aka the Sentry, who is like such a conundrum of a superhero, which I'm extremely excited for. I've been kind of diving into the Sentry again. I remember when I read the Dark Avengers a while back, him being very very prominent in that run from 2009, which I highly recommend. Insane art by Mike Deodato. Then he was a problem in the Siege storyline, well, his other half, The Void. And the only other time I might have been exposed to Sentry is World War Hulk and an issue of Annihilation Conquest, which is just looked super badass. That's why I got it. So I didn't know much about Dear Bob, but I finally got into his origin and it was awesome. And it was from a 5-issue miniseries from Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee back in 2000. And it's essentially about a man remembering that he is Superman and then the world around him remembering that as well. Besides the amazing grungy art we get from Lee, the series occasionally shifts to a more 60s Kirby Ditko type style. To then I believe we also get a dab of like 80s Frank Miller in order to convey how this character has actually been around forever and enrich the cloud of mystery and intrigue around him. Then after a series of one-shot crossovers with the likes of Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Hulk, which I'd highly recommend the Hulk one-shot, Paul Jenkins and Bill Sienkiewicz does the art and it's completely phenomenal. But it all tails off with the final confrontation in Sentry and the Void. The Void gets trapped in the basement of the Watchtower, which again is this like weird base of operations for the Sentry, which is on top of Stark Tower, which may or may not be in the trailer somewhere. But it was like a thing where because he forgot who he was, then when he locked back in during his stint in the New Avengers, it appeared back. So I love that type of weird, ambiguous, extra dimensional type shit. Like, did he exist? Does that exist? How does it work? We don't know. We may never know. And everyone just forgot, or was he never real in the first place? So if Sentry is like this golden god, then the Void is his counterweight. The idea is that for everything good that Robert does as the Sentry, the Void does something of equal bad or negative value, which I think if handled correctly could make for something really profound. Like, I know Jeff Lemire did a miniseries on him in 2018, so I'm definitely gonna hit that up soon. But I think that if you have the Sentry, you gotta have the Bob and you gotta have the Void. And I think the grandiosity of the character of Sentry, along with this eldritch horror that comes in with the Void against all of these like mortal characters, not only will that be epic to see, but also the things that they can do thematically with that, of like people needing purpose to fill slash defeat slash fight the Void, can be pretty incredible. I know it sounds for the most part naive to put that much faith in this, but the writers of this really are carrying this feeling for me. Plus the director hasn't done too much outside of music videos, but even at that, they were all pretty dope. And Jack Schreier seems super talented. All these characters seem complicated enough to service quite nicely, and a significant part of the first Thunderbolts comics from the 90s was like supervillains taking over in the absence of the real heroes, and some of them actually liking it more than being villains. So the capacity for good in all of us is one of my favorite genders. What can I say? But I do think in a very real way this will be a banger movie. But let me know what y'all thought of the teaser, whether you like it or not. If you are still pretty indifferent, any Thunderbolts or Sentry comics you'd recommend, I'm all ears. But that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you want, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope all of you guys are well, and I will see you in the next one.